So thank you so much for joining this morning for a conversation. And I wanted to start off by just hearing a little bit about, for those who would be tuning in, kind of what your role is, what your scope of work is, just so we know who it is that we get to speak to and learn from today.
Great. Thanks, Celeste. I'm Lauren Schwartz, and I am Vice President of Partnerships and Community Engagement for the Colorado Chamber and the Executive Director of the Colorado Chamber Alliance. My role primarily consists of corporate fundraising. I am the sponsorship lead for all of our corporate sponsorships for our events and programs. And I also lead an organization of local chambers of commerce throughout the state of Colorado um, that provides professional development opportunities for chamber professionals and also provides an opportunity for local chambers to partner with the state chamber on business advocacy. So, policy issues that affect all businesses statewide of every size, every industry.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm curious, where did your journey with Kendall first begin? I know that you've recently hired her as a coach, but that your journey with her has been longer than that. And I'm curious, how did you guys first begin working together?
Yeah, well, now that you mentioned it, she has been a member of the Colorado Chamber for at least the 8 years that I've been a member or a staff member of the
Hmm.
Colorado Chamber. And so I guess I knew her through the chamber, and I was always impressed with her energy and enthusiasm, her the poignancy of her conversation, and just the way she handled her business, and talking with her over the years about her business. When I came to a point where I was looking to take my role in a not necessarily a different direction, but to up my game, I suppose she was the first person I thought of.
Amazing. And so when it came to actually beginning to look at what it was to hire as a coach, what were some of the goals that you initially had in bringing a coach on for your own business growth?
Um, I should have done my homework and thought about some
That's
exact
okay. That's okay.
to share with
Whatever
you.
comes forward, whatever comes forward now.
I think I felt like this might not be my last chapter. I've been with the Colorado Chamber for 8 years, and in that 8 years, I have changed my role several times to take on new responsibilities and to meet new demands, and as they came up, and it's been a wonderful journey. And so there were a couple of things. Number one, this might not be my last chapter with the chamber, or with or without the chamber. I'm the kind of person who does something for a couple of years and then needs needs to change things up a
Hmm.
little bit.
Hmm.
So how do I elevate myself and my game to get ready for that next position, whether it's internally or externally, and frankly promote myself. I'm very good at promoting other people, but not necessarily for myself. And how do I refine some of the rough edges? Even at what I consider now to be maybe not the August season of my career, but certainly I hate to say late career, but not mid career, but on the other side, I still want to learn, and I get a lot out of any opportunity to grow. And sometimes you need an objective person who is willing to give you the tough love to point out the places where you could improve. And I think it's stronger for me when it's coming from a place of objectivity, not your boss, not your boyfriend, not your
Right.
children, not your sister, but somebody who is professionally taking an objective look at you as a package, and where you could really focus on your own growth intentionally. And so far, it's been several months, and I've had some key takeaways that have been very beneficial so far.
Amazing. And I'm curious, what were you hoping? So the goals you shared a little bit about where you were coming in from by having this objective professional feedback and place where you could really zero in on your growth that wasn't, a boss or a partner or a family member, but really get to see you as that whole package. What were you hoping was going to become possible in your career, in your later midlife career stage, by bringing on that extra growth support? What were you hoping? What are you hoping that this is going to be able to unlock for you or open up to become possible for you?
Um, Number one, identifying barriers that might have up until now or in the future could block that next phase.
Mm.
So that would be one thing that I would hope to get out of it. And I would, does my resume look like junk? does my cover letter look like junk? Am I presenting in such a way that is a turnoff or that is masking the potential that I bring? So to make sure that those barriers are clear, that especially if they're really obvious, and then to I don't want to focus on my weaknesses, but also to discover my strengths and to really play to those strengths.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we all should be seeking in our professional career as well as our personal life is really play to your strengths and make sure that you are presenting those in such a way that you can share your gifts with the rest of the world.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that already 3 months into the journey of coaching with Kendall that you are experiencing some key insights that are having an impact for you. Could you speak a little bit more about what areas that you're already seeing even within 3 months that's having some real movement for you?
Yeah, I will say the first thing that comes to mind, um, I mentioned that being in a position to get out of my comfort zone and promote myself, promote my strengths. And I had asked her at some point, I feel like I look at my portfolio and I don't see those speaking engagements. I've been a professor in the past. I feel very comfortable public speaking extemporaneously or with prepared remarks. But I can't really point to anything recent. I don't have that as part of my role currently or publications. And, not to be captain obvious, but sometimes you need that objective person to be captain obvious. And she said, Lauren, you have this captive audience. Why don't you talk about what you do and raising money? And that's a pain point for people. Share a webinar on this and come up with a class. You've done this in the past.
Mhm.
Like the light bulb just flicked on, and so we've been walking through that process, and it's a great process of rediscovery for me too.
Mm.
Maybe I need to fine tune my game there. We can always learn. Someone just recommended a book uh, on making an ask and
Mm.
making ask my whole life, but I still learned some things from that. So in any case, this is what I'm getting out of the coaching right now are new ways to approach or fresh ways to think about things. And as a hard example, for instance, fresh ways to think about promoting yourself.
And what impact is that already having? So it sounds like you're zeroing in on a strategy that's really like giving you a fresh perspective on how to be approaching reaching your people and sharing the work that you do with your community.
Yeah, well, I have a seminar lined up, and so we are,
Amazing.
off to the races. So I haven't
Amazing.
completed this at this juncture during
Yeah.
this year, so we'll have to do a follow up and let
Yes.
you know if I bombed. But
I
anyway,
have I have
yeah,
zero doubt in my mind you're gonna rock it.
yeah, and that's where I think having somebody like Kendall, is masterful at this to really recognizing your potential and what you have to offer
Mm.
and pushing. I needed somebody to push me, and that's why I signed up. I
Mhm.
didn't want somebody to coddle me. I wanted somebody to push me, and so pushing me to that extra level, not being asked to do something. I'm a woman of service. I want to be asked all day. I want to offer my service, but but to ask other people, hey, can I offer this service to you?
Mm,
And
hmm.
that was uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I did, and it was well received. So and I'm sure that it will go well because we all have something to offer, and even walking through how our presentation is going to go, I intend to make that an interactive opportunity. I don't have all the answers, none of us does, but together, I bet we can come up with some great ideas and learn from each other. And that's what Kendall, I think, has given me purpose in doing and given me the confidence to do that as well.
Amazing. I'm so excited. And you speak a little bit, you mentioned, that Kendall specifically has this masterful way about going about, calling you forward and really calling you in, right? To not just coddle you, but stretch you as well into this next level. And I'd love if you could speak a little bit more too, just about Kendall's unique coaching style, like how you experience her and what makes her different. It sounds like you're in the world of supporting business owners and in your chamber role for a long time. And so what about Kendall specifically stands out to you, and how have you experienced her unique coaching style?
Well, I've experienced her in action and just watching her in a room full of executives. She is somebody who is a connector and instantly forms a connection with people. She's not going to ask you directly for business, but I know that's how she builds her business is by getting to know folks. And she's very very adept, I'd say, and somebody I've watched, from a distance say this is a really special person who has something to offer just in just in a casual conversation.
Mm,
She brings an enormous amount of positive energy and and really brings her A game, which brings out everyone else's A game. So I would say it's her personal style that really gets me enthusiastic. And so yeah, she can deliver the tough love while also encouraging in a positive way. So you're feeling like, yes, give me more. Yes. So
mm,
I would say that's what distinguishes her in my mind from other folks who do this kind of work.
mm. Beautiful. Now, has anything in this coaching process with Kendall surprised you so far?
Hmm. I have to think about that. I think just to the first thing that comes to mind is already been said. When there's the Captain Obvious answer to a question. So that's some of those surprises maybe, and yeah, just learning about taking a deeper look inside sometimes and
Mm,
what's under the hood inside. Sometimes it's scary
mm,
to think, what am I? Am I an imposter? Am I a fraud? I think we all have those questions. Um, and sometimes when you're getting pushed by an encouraging coach like Kendall, those questions still come up, and you're like, wait, but she's helping me break through
mm,
because even at my age and my experience, I mean, I could tell you I am not a shy person. I have no trouble going into a room full of strangers and introducing myself. But I will tell you that 15 minutes before I go into a room full of strangers, even though I've been to 1,000 rubber chicken dinners and lunches and happy hours and networking opportunities, I still get imposter syndrome
mm.
before walking in the door. Once I'm there, I'm having a ball. But,
Right.
but we all have that moment when, boy, it sure would be nice to go put on my Vori tracksuit and put up my feet and watch my new Netflix binge deal after work instead of going to this event where I'm going to have to dig deep and bring my energy.
Mhm. And it sounds like some of these insights with Kendall are really helping you break through or see more ways to reframe and just connect with that confidence before
Yeah,
stepping into those spaces.
yeah.
Amazing. Are there any other new skills or habits that you're starting to build or insights that are really sticking with you and staying with you as you're taking steps in your career right now?
Um, yeah, I think at this point I feel like we've gone through some work and now it's just about discipline. So
Mm.
I'm made to do the work. And so instead of the preparation, the discovery and preparation phase have passed. And now it's time to do the work. For instance, lining up this course that Kendall encouraged me to put on and doing the pre-work for it as well as delivering and then the follow-up with that. Um, so I'm excited.
So it sounds like the skills of just honing in on what your next professional project is and then the discipline to actually implement and see it through is really the phase that you're now in the coaching journey with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Um, how have you noticed that coaching's impacted your own um, leadership or decision making?
Um, I feel like it can only enhance it. I love to mentor and foster growth with people who report to me or people who are looking to me for answers. Sometimes they're peers, sometimes they're peers outside of my organization, sometimes they're younger people. What I'm trying to learn at this stage is instead of just giving the answer that I think is the right answer,
Right.
is to help them ask some questions so that they come up with the answer. And so that's something that I'm working on still. It's
Hmm.
um, just to encourage people to get outside of their comfort zone. I'm pretty good at that and giving them ideas, but also not just giving them the answer. So I feel like that's something that's coming out of this as well.
Amazing. Amazing. And I'm also curious, if you hadn't said yes to hiring Kendall as your coach 3 months ago, where do you think you'd be today right now?
Frustrating.
What would be the inner dialogue? Where would you be looking at? What would be frustrating about your career the most, do you think?
um, but boy, I would be frustrated in what's holding me back, what's going on, what's how can I reach the next level?
Mm,
Um, I need a guide. I think those are the questions I was
yeah.
asking myself at the time that I sought out her help. Uh,
Hmm.
but it wasn't like I was in crisis.
Sure.
Uh, it was just a moment of, okay, I'm looking at the next 10 to 15 years of my professional career. Is this it?
Right.
Oh, no, definitely not.
It's not meant to end like this.
No, but where, is this it? Is this the way I am?
Mm,
Now that I've had, it's not like I'm early career and still learning. I am learning, but
sure.
is this, how can I improve? How can I get
Hmm.
to the next level?
Amazing. Well, thank goodness we're not there. We're here instead. And what would you say is one of the just one result that you're most proud of having already arrived to or experienced in this work with Kendall?
Um, I keep going back to, pushing, with some material uh, outcomes that
Yeah.
we've started on and
Yeah.
really just being willing to put myself out there to offer a service or um, offer myself. And it's it's ironic because I've worked for myself in the past as a consultant freelancer. I had to eat what I killed. So I'm I'm not unfamiliar with asking for the business.
Mhm.
um, in putting myself out. as a resource. It was spooky, and so I'm able to recognize that maybe I was holding myself back
Hmm.
in the past, and I don't want to do that in the future.
Well, it sounds like, and you're not doing it anymore. I mean, now you get to be proud that you are stepping into a next chapter where that's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
Amazing. What would you say to somebody who's considering hiring Kendall as an executive coach for their career?
Oh, I'd say I could give my utmost recommendation. I think they would get a lot out of it. Whenever you have an opportunity, if you have the opportunity to seek out a coach, you, there's always something to learn. If you are open-minded and willing to do some of the work, you are you're going to find out some things that are going to help you. And so I would highly recommend it for anyone because
Mhm.
you can use it for your current career or whatever your even a hobby. I think you can what life should be about lifelong learning and
Mhm.
improvement and finding out how we can contribute more to our community and our society. So if there's somebody who's able to help you, why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
Mm. Well said. I completely agree. And is there anything else that maybe you feel inspired to share about what your journey with Kendall's been like and what has yet to come?
Yeah, well, thanks, Celeste.
Mhm.
um, well, my experience with Kendall has been really positive. As I've said, she brings amazing energy, and she is the kind of coach who will push you and encourage you and push you beyond your comfort level, but in a way that you will be joyful about it and welcome that discomfort at first to get past the next level and her objectivity and looking at where you might have some blind spots or where you have opportunities to really shine and share your own strengths with your place of work or your community. That's something that she is really masterful at identifying and pushing you to tackle it on your own.
Hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time this morning to share, to reflect on the coaching process, not only for just continued integration of your own journey with her as a client, but to share some insight and shed some light on the power of what this coaching could also bring to others who are considering investing in the same kind of growth and transformation for themselves. So just really want you to know that I appreciate your time and your thoughtfulness and I'm celebrating you too. Congratulations on this upcoming masterclass and everything that you're going to be bringing to your community because of all the work that you're saying yes to in this container.
He's blessed. And thank you. Yeah, thank you for taking this time today too. I appreciate the conversation.
Of course, my pleasure.